All Academy. Always with you.
Hello my dear students, welcome to this online video lecture on fluid mechanics. So in the previous session we have discussed the various numericals on the first topic, that is introduction to fluid properties, and we have solved the numericals on the viscosity, surface tension, then we have solved the numericals on capillary phenomena, then we have solved the numericals on the velocity of sound. Now in this session we are going to continue the further topics. So that is, we are going to discuss the Pascal law, then proof for the Pascal law, then we'll discuss the what is hydrostatic law, then we'll see the derivation for the hydrostatic law, then we'll see the different types of pressure, that is atmospheric pressure, absolute pressure, gauge pressure, vacuum pressure. So we're going to study the definitions in details in this session. So without wasting much time, let us begin with today's session. Now we all know that the pressure is defined as, so we all know that the pressure is defined as the normal force exerted by a fluid per unit area, means it is a force per unit area. It is called fluid pressure or a pressure. Now let us consider F as a total force. F is a total force which is uniformly distributed over an area A. Then the pressure at any point is given by the equation, that is P is equals to F by A, where F is in a Newton and area is in a meter square or in mm square. So the unit of pressure will becomes Newton per mm square or Newton per meter square. Now this is how we need to identify the pressure at any point when the pressure force is uniformly distributed. If you assume that if the force is not uniformly distributed, then by using a differential equation we can identify the pressure force at any point by using an equation P is equals to dF divided by dA. Understood? By using so this equation is used when the force is uniformly distributed. When the force is not uniformly distributed, then we have to use this differential equation. Now based on this definition, the Pascal law has been developed. So let us know what is this Pascal law in details. Now as per the definition of a Pascal law, it states that the pressure or intensity of a pressure at a point in a fluid at rest is equal in all the direction. It means that if the fluid is at rest, then the intensity of a pressure at a point will be equal in all the direction. That is a simple definition of a Pascal law. Now you can see this one in this figure, how the pressure will be equal in all the direction as per the definition of a Pascal law. Then this Pascal law was developed by the French mathematician, that is B. Pascal, in 1653, almost 400 years ago. This law has been developed. So now we know that the pressure, according to the definition, according to the law, the pressure will be equal in all the direction. Now what is the proof for that one? When the scientist has or a mathematician has developed or stated a law, means there must be some proof. Now let us know what is the proof for this one. Let us derive that proof that says that the pressure in the fluid at rest is equal in all the direction. Now for this one, let us consider an arbitrary wedge shaped fluid element in a stationary fluid mass as a free surface, means a fluid which is at rest. So let us consider an arbitrary wedge shaped fluid element in a stationary fluid or which is at rest. Now this is considered as a free body. So here you can consider this is a wedge shaped fluid element. Assume the dimensions for this one. So let us assume the dimension, that is dx, dy and dz or ds. You can, in some textbook they have taken ds, dx, dz, and here I have taken ds, and it has a unit depth perpendicular to the plane of a paper. It has a depth, it has given a dimension, along with that it is having some depth, that is a unit depth. So unit means 1. Now let us fx, fy, fz. So that is fx, fy, fz be the pressure force acting on the face AB, AC and BC. So fx, fy, fz are the pressure force acting on the force AB, AC and BC respectively. Similarly, px, py, pz, that is px, py, pz are the corresponding pressures, You can see here px, pz, py are the corresponding pressures. Now let angle ABC, that is here, it is given as a theta. Angle B is here, it is given, that is theta. You can note it here. Now there will be two forces acting on this fluid element, this arbitrary wedge shaped element. So there will be two forces will be acting on this element. So one is a normal pressure force. Okay, one is a normal pressure force and another one is a vertical force due to the weight of an element. So there will be two forces which will be acting on this wedge shaped element. One is a pressure force and another one is a weight of an element. So these are the two forces generally acting on this element. Now the force on AB, so here you can see the reference figure also have mentioned it. So the force on AB, that is on face AB, is given as px into area of AB, AB area into px. Now area of AB is nothing but dy into 1. So dy is the height and the depth of that particular side. So it is as a unit. It is already given that it has having a unit depth perpendicular to the plane surface. So it is a dy into A. So area of AB will be equals to px into dy into 1. So it will be nothing but px into dy. Similarly, the force on AC is given as py into dx, into 1. And similarly, the force on AB, it is mentioned, I have mentioned it here. You can see the forces. It is as a pz into ds into 1. Pz into ds into 1. Now the weight, so these are the forces, normal pressure forces. Now he said that there will be a force which is acting, that is the weight of an element will be also acting on this fluid element. So the weight of element is given as, that is mass of an element into gravitational constant, that is g, that is 9.81. Now how to calculate the mass of an element? So it can be calculated by using an equation, that is volume of that surface into its density. If you multiply, we'll get a mass of an element. Now the area of this triangular arbitrary wedge shaped element can be equals to AB into AC, that is AB into AC, height into base divided by 2 into depth. So that becomes the volume. So depth is 1. So into rho, that is density of this fluid element, and the gravitational constant. So it is a rho is the density of a fluid. Now resolving all these forces in x direction. So then we get an equation, that is px dy into 1 minus p into ds into 1 sine 90 minus theta will be equals to 0. So I have to resolve all the forces in the x direction. So that will be equals to 0. If I simplify this one, I will get an equation. So that is px dy minus pz ds into cos theta. Now from the figure, cos theta will be equals to, from this figure I can write cos theta will be equals to ds into AB. This is from referring from figure. I can write AB is equals to, or dy will be equals to ds into cos theta from this figure. Now let us substitute this ds cos theta. So here is there. Okay. So let us substitute this cos theta. So ds cos theta as an dy. So after that we'll get an equation p x dy minus pz dy into 1 will be equals to 0. If I rearrange this one, and from this equation dy get cancels, so finally I will get, So a equation that is Px will be equals to Pz. So from this I can get Px will be equals to Pz. When I resolve the forces in x direction, I will get Px will be equals to Pz. Now similarly, if I resolve the forces, in y direction, we get an equation Py into dx into 1 minus Pz ds cos 90 minus theta minus dx dy divided by 2 into 1 rho into g will be equals to 0. Please refer this figure also so that you can easily understand. And one more thing, please, while you are watching this video, please take a pen and paper, try to continue the steps whichever we follow, so that it will be easy to understand for you people. And the next, after simplifying this equation, I'll get an equation that is Py dx minus Pz ds sin theta minus dx dy divided by 2 into rho into g will be equals to 0. Now from this figure I can get the ds sin theta as an ds sin theta will be equals to dx from this figure. So I can replace this one, I can replace this dx, I can replace the dx here, okay, I can replace this one ds into sin theta as an dx. Now after that I'll get an equation Py dx minus Pz dx will be equals to 0. After rearranging the equation, this dx and dx will get cancelled. The final left out term will be equals to Py will be equals to Pz. So that will be in a y direction. Now in x direction, by resolving the forces in x direction, we got an equation that is Px will be equals to Pz in a resolving the x equation. So this is a equation 1 and now this is a equation 2. From equation 1 and 2 we can get Px, that is Px will be equals to Pz, okay, into Py. So that will be Px will be equals to Pz, that will be equals to Py. Means from these two equations we can say that the pressure forces when the fluid is at rest will be equal in all the direction. So this is a proof for the Pascal law. So this is how we can say that the pressure when the fluid is at rest, when the pressure on acting on any point will be equal in all the direction. Now resolving the forces in the x direction, we got the equation Px will be equals to Pz, and resolving the forces in y direction, we got Py is equals to Pz. From these two equations we can say that Px will be equals to Py, that will be equals to Pz. So hope this derivation is clear to you people, this proof is clear to you people. So, and even in my notes I have clearly mentioned all these steps and I have included in the notes also. You can follow that also along with this video lecture. Now next important thing in this session is hydrostatic law. Okay, the next very important topic in this particular section is a hydrostatic law. Now what is this hydrostatic law? Let us know this one. So the hydrostatic law states that, so it is the rate of increase of pressure in vertically downward direction must be equal to specific weight of a fluid at the point. It says that what is a hydraulic law states that the rate of increase of pressure in a vertically downward direction, means vertically downward direction, must be equal to the specific weight of a fluid at that particular point. Now this is a hydrostatic law and let us prove this hydrostatic law. Okay, and this is a reference figure for this respective law. Okay, let us consider a stationary fluid. Okay, let us consider a stationary fluid of a small element A, B, C and D as shown in this figure. Now the delta A is in a cross-sectional area of this element. Delta A is in a cross-sectional area of this element, and delta Z is in a height of this fluid element. This height of this fluid element. Okay. Now P is the pressure on force face AB. So this is a pressure force. P is a pressure on AB, and z is a distance of an element from the free surface. You can see this z is a distance from the free surface of a liquid. Now the forces acting on this element are, one is a pressure force on AB. So this is a pressure force on AB that is given by P into delta A. Okay? And another one is a pressure force on CD, on the bottom surface. So that is given by P plus dou P by dou Z into dZ into delta A, which is acting perpendicular to the face CD, vertically upward direction, and the pressure force on AB, it will be acting in the downward direction. And another one force will be, that is weight of a fluid element. It is nothing but density of a fluid into G into volume of a fluid. And another one force will be the pressure forces on side surfaces, that is BC and DC are equal and opposite. So these forces are equal and opposite. The forces, the pressure forces on BC and AD are equal and opposite. So what are the forces acting on this element? So one is the pressure force on AB, another one is the pressure force on CD, which is acting in the upward direction, and another one is the weight of an element. Then the last one is the two forces acting on the side faces, that is BC and the AD. Now by equilibrium, for equilibrium condition, if I consider all the forces, then it will be, this is a pressure force on face AB. Okay, this is AB, and this is a negative sign I have taken because it is acting in upward direction. So it is on CD, it is acting on CD. Then this is a weight of an element, and these two forces are equal and opposite. The BC and CD faces are having equal and opposite forces, hence they have been neglected. So it is not neglected, it is eliminated. Okay, now if I equate these whole equation, we'll get an equation that is P into, if I simplify this whole equation, I will get P into delta A minus P into delta A, again minus, because minus into plus will be minus, dou P by dou Z into delta Z into dA, then plus rho G into delta A into Z. Okay, this is a Z, this is delta Z. Okay, here you need to consider delta Z, it is a delta Z, will be equals to 0. Now this PA, delta PA and this delta PA get cancelled. Now if I simplify here, the left out equation will be minus dou P by dou Z into delta Z into delta A plus rho G into delta A into delta Z will be equals to 0. Now if I rearrange this equation, we'll get dou P by, okay, the previous equation I have just rearranged here. So that will be equals to dou P by dou Z into delta Z delta A will be equals to rho G into delta A delta Z. So this is a simplified equation. Just I have rearranged this one, so the negative sign is eliminated. Now this is also, we can cancel it here. You can see, you can cancel this delta Z and delta A, and here also delta A and delta Z is eliminated. Therefore the final left out term will be equals to, dou P by dou Z will be equals to rho G into, that will be equals to W. What is this W? Rho G is nothing but the weight of an element, density of a fluid into gravitational constant will give you the weight of an element or the weight density of a fluid. So from this equation we can say that the rate of increase of pressure in vertical direction is equal to the weight density. Please note that the pressure force in a vertical direction, the rate of increase of pressure in a vertical direction is equal to the weight density of a fluid at that point. So which is nothing but a hydrostatic law. Now I can integrate this equation for further simplification. If I integrate this one, so I'll get dp, I'll just take dz here, then it will be integration of dp will be equals to integration of rho g into dz. Now if I integrate it, I will get p into p into rho g into z. Now z will be equals to p by rho g. Now this equation is there, no? It is called the head of pressure or the pressure head. Z is a pressure head. Here you can see this one. So this is a pressure head. Just mark it here. This is a pressure head. That is a Z can be identified. That is P divided by rho G. So hope you have clear with this one. If you are not able to clear, means just re-watch the steps what we have discussed in one, so that you can understand this hydrostatic law. And these two laws are very much important for your examination. These two laws are very much important for your examination, because repeatedly these questions are asked for 8 to 10 marks in a previous examination. So please carefully solve the steps and do practice these derivations. The next important in this topic is the different pressures that we come across, that we here in this fluid mechanics. Is first one is at atmospheric pressure, then we see the absolute pressure, then the gauge pressure, then the vacuum pressure. So what is these pressures? Let us discuss in details now. Now the atmospheric pressure, it is defined as, it is the force, it is a atmospheric air exerts the normal pressure on all the surfaces with which it is in contact. Means whatever the normal force exerted by an air which is in contact with this air is called atmospheric pressure. That is a normal pressure, generalized pressure. That is a atmospheric pressure. Now what is the next one? That is absolute pressure. When a pressure is measured above absolute zero, if the pressure is measured above the absolute zero, then it is called absolute pressure. Absolute pressure. And all the values of absolute pressure are positive. Means there must be positive pressure values. Then we can say that it is a absolute pressures. Now what is this gauge pressure? So when the pressure is measured by taking a atmospheric pressure as a datum or reference, it is called gauge pressure, and it is measured by using a instrument called pressure gauge. And all the pressure gauges shows zero value when it is open to atmosphere. Means when it is normal, it is kept, it shows a zero pressure, and it indicates only the difference in the difference between the fluid pressure and the atmospheric pressure. When there is only, it only give the differences between the fluid pressure and the atmospheric pressure. So that is called as a gauge pressure. Now what is this vacuum pressure? A vacuum pressure is a fluid, or it is a pressure of a fluid below the atmospheric pressure, and it is called vacuum pressure. Generally it is also called negative gauge pressure, and it is measured by the vacuum gauge. It is a pressure below the atmospheric pressure is known as vacuum pressure. Now these all figures, these all pressures can be given in a pressure scale. That is, this is a pressure and this is a line, and absolute zero. Now the point absolute pressure, this is absolute pressure. Now this is a gauge pressure and atmospheric pressure taken as a reference, and the pressure below the atmospheric pressure is a vacuum pressure, and the pressure above the atmospheric pressure is an absolute pressure, and the pressure which is measured by taking a reference of an atmospheric pressure is called gauge pressure. So okay my dear students, so whatever concepts or derivations which we have discussed in today's session, I hope it is clear, and please concentrate on these derivations and watch the derivations very carefully. And even though I have mentioned the derivation and including the steps I have given in the notes, and you can simultaneously watch these video and do the derivation. You can easily get into, or you can easily derive these equations. Why I am focusing more means because these derivations are repeatedly asked in the examination for 8 to 10 marks, especially hydrostatic law and Pascal law. This is every year this question is asked. So please carefully do the calculation, and please watch the video carefully And if you're not able to, if you are finding any difficulty in any steps, comment it in a comment box and I will try to clarify your doubts.
Click on subscribe button and press the bell icon to get updates from All Academy.